You know that feeling. Someone walks into the room and something immediately shifts. They haven't said anything wrong, they haven't done anything you can point to, but something about them makes you want to take a small step back. Your body picks it up before your mind does. A quiet discomfort, a subtle alarm going off somewhere beneath your thoughts. And the strangest part is you can't explain it. You look around and other people seem completely fine. They're laughing, talking, while you're left trying to figure out why this one person feels slightly off. That feeling isn't irrational, and it isn't you being oversensitive. It's your brain detecting something real. And this video is going to explain exactly what that something is. The ability to sense that someone is off before you can explain why is one of the most sophisticated things the human brain does. It happens automatically, below the level of conscious thought, faster than language. For a long time, we called it a gut feeling, a vibe, intuition. But psychology has spent decades uncovering what's actually happening when that internal alarm goes off. And what it found is both fascinating and deeply important. At the center of it is something called social attunement. Human beings are built to be in sync with each other, not perfectly, not always, but constantly and automatically. In any normal interaction, there's a rhythm beneath the words. Your body subtly mirrors the other person's movements, your breathing adjusts, your facial expressions echo theirs in ways you don't consciously notice. This is driven by the mirror neuron system, neurons that fire as if you are experiencing what the other person is experiencing. It's why emotions spread, why you wince when someone gets hurt, why a genuine smile can lift your mood instantly. Social interaction runs on this invisible synchrony, and when someone falls out of that rhythm, your brain notices immediately. Some people are naturally out of sync with this rhythm, not because they're bad or dangerous, but because their brain processes social information differently. They might hold eye contact slightly too long or not long enough. Their expression might not quite match what they're saying, or their body language might feel slightly delayed or overly controlled. These are details you wouldn't consciously detect, but your brain does. Psychologists call this incongruence, when different channels of communication don't align. When someone says they're fine, but their jaw is tight and their eyes don't quite meet yours, you feel it, even if you can't articulate it. When someone talks about something emotional, but their face stays flat, your brain registers the mismatch. It doesn't necessarily mean deception or danger. It can simply mean discomfort or emotional control. But the signal your brain receives is real, and that signal is what you experience as unease. This connects to the idea of the uncanny valley, the discomfort we feel when something appears almost human, but not quite. The same effect applies to people. Someone who seems 95% socially in sync, who says the right things and appears normal, but whose micro-expressions or timing are slightly off, can feel more unsettling than someone who is clearly off. When something is clearly off, you can name it and respond. But when it's almost right, your brain gets stuck trying to resolve a mismatch it can't fully identify. Now, in some cases, this discomfort can point to deeper personality traits. Psychologists refer to a cluster called the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. People high in these traits can be very skilled at projecting warmth and charm, especially early on. They know what signals to send and how to make others feel valued. But underneath that performance, the emotional attunement isn't quite the same. Over time, others may sense that something doesn't fully add up, even if they can't explain why. That said, it's important to be precise. The vast majority of people who make others uncomfortable are not manipulative or dangerous. More often, they simply don't match the unspoken expectations of the group. Social anxiety can make others uneasy because distress is contagious. Introversion can create silence that people don't know how to handle. Neurodivergence can shift the rhythm entirely. In many cases, the discomfort reflects a mismatch between expectations and reality, not a flaw in the person. There's also a biological layer behind all of this.
The brain's threat detection system, centered in the amygdala, is highly sensitive to ambiguity. It evolved in environments where social uncertainty could be dangerous, so it flags anything that doesn't fit a familiar pattern. The problem is that ambiguity and danger are processed in similar ways, which means your body can't always tell the difference between someone who is threatening and someone who is simply different. And that's where things get complicated, because the most common response to discomfort is avoidance. We distance ourselves, exclude, or quietly label someone as off without ever examining what that feeling actually means. And in doing so, we often end up hurting people who are simply navigating the world differently. People who are anxious, neurodivergent, or unfamiliar with the social scripts around them. The discomfort is real and worth noticing, but the story we attach to it deserves much more scrutiny. Here's the honest truth. Some people who make you uncomfortable are worth being cautious around. Patterns over time matter, and incongruence can be a meaningful signal. But most are simply doing their best with a different kind of wiring. The discomfort you feel is your nervous system making a prediction, not delivering a final judgment. Learning to sit with that feeling long enough to understand it, rather than immediately reacting to it, might be one of the most important social skills you can develop. Because sometimes the person who makes everyone slightly uncomfortable isn't the least trustworthy. They might be the most honest one in the room. And in a world where people are increasingly good at performing comfort without actually feeling it, that difference matters. This is what psychology looks like when it pays attention to the things most people ignore. New video every week on Sophix, the science of what's really happening underneath. If that's the conversation you want, subscribe. I'll see you next week.